They say, remember when they didn't need masks? We didn't need masks, and now suddenly they all want masks. They said they don't get masks, so when they said not to get them, I didn't get masks. And now everybody's got to wear a mask, and I don't have masks. I have these friggin' diapers. And you know what else? Oh, you know what else? I have to work from home. That's what this is about. So now I have to work from home, and my kid, she's being homeschooled, and she's a handful, and everything's just really driving me crazy, and this whole corona again is pissing me off. Here's why your thumbnails f***ing suck. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dodgy Karma Design, where designs become graphic, where we talk about everything from photography to Photoshop. Hey everybody, so we've been on lockdown for a few days, and it's been interesting. I haven't been able to... sorry, hold on for a second, it's bugging the crap out of me. Better. Greeting, inmates. I have not been doing YouTube for a very long time, but I've been trying to figure out my style and my niche and trying to just be my authentic self and let you know who I am, and then just kind of grow a community and all that crap. But the one thing I forget the most about is going to be thumbnails. Usually I think about thumbnails when it prompts me to upload one. What happens is, if you've never done YouTube before, basically you upload a video and then it's got to process that video, and while it's doing that you can fill in the tags and the keywords and all their stuff. And one of the things you're supposed to do is upload, or you should have it ready, but what I do is I wind up, oh crap, I need to make a thumbnail now. And a thumbnail is super important because it's literally the button that you're pushing to see what the video is about. So just like all of you, I have a lot of free time lately, so I've joined a lot of Facebook groups in order to kind of reach out to other YouTubers, see if maybe we can do some collaboration. But besides that, I have been reaching out to a lot of people, and I've been noticing that on these YouTube groups where they're trying to help you, where you're trying to help each other actually, the thumbnails are... Okay, now look, my thumbnails suck. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not saying I'm the end all be all, I know everything about the thumbnails, but I do design. So there are some kind of tiny little rules because thumbnails are so important and there's so much you can do with them. But this is kind of like your YouTube thumbnail tutorial beginner's edition. Now, in the best twist of irony, if you actually saw the thumbnail and clicked on it to get to this video, or if you haven't, it's going to be right here. I'm going to show you. We're now going to make it. I've never made it before. I have no idea what I'm doing. This, I did that in post. You know, it was like, sup, Ed? How you doing, future Ed? Yeah, this video is going to be meta as fuck. So today I'm going to show you 5 tips on how to make your thumbnails unsuck. Now, what I'm about to show you is going to be able to be done in any graphic editing software. You can do it in Canva, which I actually think they might actually have templates. I don't know, I've never actually used it. You could also use GIMP. You could use MS Paint. It doesn't really matter, but I'm using Photoshop, so all the principles can still be used. But if you are using Photoshop, I use Adobe Photoshop 2020. This is how you get into it, and this is how you start from here. So you go into Photoshop and you click Create New, and then you go over here to your width and height, and under width you want to put 1280, under height you want to put 720. Keep it RGB. We can do the white background, why not? And you click. Now this is going to be our thumbnail. This is our general thumbnail size. Now this is going to be your standard thumbnail size. What you need to implement is the 10-foot rule. The 10-foot rule is, if you unass your chair and walk 10 feet behind you, turn around and look at the screen, you should be able to read it easily, legibly, and clearly from across the room. Now, keeping a uniformity in your thumbnails will get you more clicks and more views and everything. I sure as hell have not done that. But if you look at all your favorite YouTubers, they generally have a uniform style among their thumbnails. Now, keep in mind, when you have millions of followers, then it doesn't really matter what you do for your thumbnail. You have the audience that will watch it. Number 1, fonts. The font you pick should be large. visible from afar, and legible. Don't worry about using block lettering, even though it looks kind of boring or you're yelling. It really does read better from across the room, the 10-foot rule. So what you want to avoid, and I see a lot of people doing this, is script fonts. So let's go ahead and just see what something like that looks like from what. This is our placeholder text. Lorem ipsum is placeholder text. I really know what that is. I took 3 different classes on typography, and the lorem ipsum has always been the placeholder text. I used to know the history behind it, but I don't anymore. But obviously what you want to do is you want to stay away from super thin fonts and definitely curly, cute, distracting, and decorative fonts, because it won't get your point across. Like for instance, if this one said stop Corona, then you would be like, oh, I'm not gonna go there, there's Corona. But if you see this sign, it says stop Corona, you're just gonna be like, I don't know what that is, but it looks elvish and it's pretty. See what I mean? It just looks all decorative. It's like, oh look, we're having a party up in here. Okay, that was stupid. But you understand my point now. Fonts matter. You want to use big fonts. You want to use thick fonts. You want to have some fun with it. It doesn't mean you can't use distressed fonts. You could always use something that has a little bit of personality to it. But you got to understand the design elements in itself. It needs to be legible. So you need to use something that's going to be punchy and bigger and grabbing. Something that's going to make someone say, I want to watch what the hell that is. Tip number 2, less is more. And by way of less is more, I'm saying whatever you put in there, you have to dial it back. You have to give them a taste. The thumbnail is just a taste. You don't want to give them the whole sandwich, just a taste. And when you do that, they'll be like, oh, I want to see how to make this, or I want to see what they're doing over here. I want to see what game they're playing, or whatever. You just want to give them the idea of what it's about a little bit. Less is more means light photos, keep it simple, but you also want to mainly focus when it comes to this is on the wording and the lettering. You do not want to have 1,000 logos up there, a whole bunch of different fonts and like 16 different words, because half the time I look at these thumbnails and they look like people writing Bible passages. You want to stick to the 4 words per thumbnail, 4-5 words tops if you absolutely have to. 2 different fonts. You can do more, and I encourage you to try and figure out how to make it work, but it's got to be organic. Don't shoehorn things in there because you think it's going to look good. Which brings me to tip number 3, stay away areas. Stay away areas are basically areas in your thumbnail that you are going to lose by way of size or by just the information that pops up on there. For instance, so this area right here is generally reserved for the timestamp. It talks about how long your video is, and it's going to cover up everything you have in there, usually, mostly. Then you have this area right over here that has basically your watch later, playlist link, just little things like that. So it gives you basically all this area to work with. But you know what? Now that I think about it, not exactly. Because sometimes it also gets rid of a slight area of the border around here. So basically, what you want to do is design in that white area. So yes, the thumbnails are already incredibly small, and it's taking away 1/4 of it as well. Got to work with it. Got to make it work. Next, colors matter. So I'm not going to get into color psychology right now, because if I did, this video would be 4 hours long. Let's go with red. You got to understand, when you're looking at straight on 255 red RGB solid color, it's awesome and great, and it will stop someone to look at your thumbnail, but you need to have something popping out of it. Now we go back to the font. Let's go with a basic white font. Click on it, and we want to put our placeholder text here. Don't stretch your fonts. Just don't do it. You can scale them, but don't stretch them. Don't pull them. Some fonts, okay, some fonts you can get away with doing that because that's actually how they make the base of other fonts, but you have to have your eye open and realize what looks like crap. We have a placeholder text, we have our background, and we have a white background. But it's not actually all that entertaining. However, if we take just the words and bring them right down here and just hit that bottom line right there so it looks like it's cut out of the red, now it's a little bit more interesting to look at. Let's say there was words from the top. Let's just clone the words. Let's just duplicate them and have it coming off of the top. Now you have to really ask yourself, is that hard to read? Because the bottom one's really easy to read, but the top one doesn't seem to have the same flow. So I would definitely go with the bottom one. But if we were going to put something here, we would put dumbass text. That's what we do here. That's where the dumbass texts go. However, now we have white on red on white on red on white. Okay, I mean, it's doable. It's cool, but you might want to come with a more complementary color. I'm going to open up a website. Now, this website I absolutely love. This website is called Paladin. I hope I'm pronouncing it right because they are not today's video sponsor. No one is. So it is a color scheme designer. But if you look at it, if you go down to base RGB, this is where you would put your hexadecimal. One of the tips I was told was what you want to use is yellow. So let's go ahead and change the red to yellow, and we'll just go down and pull it to a super obnoxious bright yellow. And since that's a light color, let's change the background color black. And now that we have black, let's take the coloring that we have here for the placeholder text and change that to black as well. Now everything's looking good, but the one thing that's sticking out that doesn't quite seem right is the dumbass text. So what we're going to do, grab that color for the layer of the yellow, go down to Paladin, Paleoton, put it as the new base color, hit OK. Now we have all of our different colors we can play with. I really like this color right here, so we're gonna go ahead and use that. Go back to our text, and that'll be that cool purple. Let's see what that looks like. Get off it. There you go. It reads well. It looks like Planet Fitness. I miss going to Planet Fitness. So what do we go over? We want to make sure that you use the right font, something chunky, something you can see from afar. You want to avoid certain areas. Don't put everything to the edges. Put a little bit of a margin. People lately have been doing a lot of framing, so they'll put a frame around something. That's pretty neat. Colors that pop and complement each other, and they're eye-catching. So basically all you need with the Paladin website I just showed you, or the Paladin website, or the Paleoton, I'm terrible at this. It's not the exercise machine. All you gotta do is throw the hexadecimal in there, and then you'll know exactly what colors to play with and what you could look for to make them work. And the last and final tip that I've been told, that I've been sticking to, but I have no real A/B testing to find out if this works, is you want to use your face. Either your face, if you're selling yourself, you're selling, this is the personality of my channel, or maybe an illustration that has eyes either looking at the camera or enough to see the whites of the eyes of the actual character. So now I'm going to be using all the techniques that I showed you in order to make the thumbnail for the video that we're watching. And there you have it. That's the whole reason why your thumbnails suck, and that is exactly why we are no longer going to have sucky thumbnails, because I just showed you 5 easy little ways, easy little things you can do to avoid or to make sure you double check on to make sure that your thumbnails do not suck. Again, I don't know everything about thumbnail design because there's just actually quite a lot more, but there's tons of videos on there. I would suggest checking out Nimmin. I'll put him in the link below. He's a YouTuber that helps you build your YouTube channel, and he also happens to be a graphic designer, and I enjoy watching him quite often. A wealth of knowledge, if you will. There's also Vanessa Lau. She shows you how to be a better influencer, and she actually has a lot of videos that are very comprehensive on thumbnail design. The ironicalness of this all is the fact that if you're watching this on a playlist, you actually didn't get any thumbnail to click on. It just went to the next video. So you've just heard me complain about this and how meta it's going to be, even though you've never actually seen it up until before when I did it, just now when I did it. And again, editing this thing is going to be a nightmare. If you found any value in this, I hope you hit the like button and comment down below what you did enjoy about it, maybe what you want me to cover in the future. I want you to make sure you hit subscribe and crotch punch that bell so you can be notified each and every time I have an upload. In the description below, I will go ahead and link everybody I've already referenced, and it will also have a bunch of links to my social media, which I hope you follow me on all of it. I want to have this dialogue going. I love each and every one of you. And please remember, whether it's thumbnails for YouTube, flyers for a client, or just trying to get through quarantine, be good or good at it. Hey everybody, welcome to Dodgy Karma Design, where everything's made up and the points don't matter.